All right, so my second summer read choice. I like this because it's what happens to students after they leave school. So I thought it makes sense after we leave school and we leave each other. We want you guys to pick up some good books, and this one will kind of put you in that mind frame. So it's called Look Both Ways, and it's kind of got some awards there. It's by Jason Reynolds. So I already know I love this author. I've read All American Boys and a few other books of his. And this one just looked like a different style than I usually have read by him. They're all short stories, which that may be a perk for you. And they're all different experiences of students leaving school and what their life is on their walk home from school. So it really shows you the different perspectives of, even if you think of your classmates and like what happens when everyone leaves after that school bell and goes home. How do your experiences differ from each other? So, like I said, each story is very, very different from each other. It actually separates the book into chapters by the streets that they're walking down to get home. See here, like there's one of the streets. And it varies on the storyline. So every time you meet a new character, it feels like a different narrator. It feels like a different style of story even. And I think that's really cool that he's able to do that as an author. So 10 individual stories of students on their walk home from school. Everyone has their own story to tell. And you realize that there's a connecting thread through the story of the fact that they all go to the same school. They don't really have a ton of connections to each other. So it's like acquaintances you may have in school. Like, you know the person's name, but you don't really know their story at all. You don't know what their home life's like. You don't know what their walk home from school would be like. That's how these stories connect. So you don't see them being friends with each other throughout each short story you read. The storylines vary from the first one you read that's about boogers, and I was like very thrown off. Like, I don't know if I'm going to like this book. And the conversation these two friends have about that. And then there's another one about stolen change and how you think there's this group of really kind of thug-like teenagers, but really they're doing it for a good reason. They're stealing this change, and you'll see why. And then another one about this group of best friends that has a special handshake that the teachers are like, all right, I don't have time for this. Get your handshake over. But it shows the bond that they have through this handshake. And then there's several others. So there's 10 stories, and they're all very different. So I want you to think, what happens as you leave school and head home, and how do your stories differ, and what would your story be like after the school bell rang and you had to look both ways on your way home? All right, so go ahead and let me know if you'd want to read this one. Great summer read.